The Bring In Project was the initiative of the former Minister Patricia Lawrence, and also former minister, also now Member of Parliament, Mr. Cornelius De Weaver. When I came into your office and I heard about the Bring In Project, I found it fitting to continue this initiative as it would support and encourage our young individuals to return home and give them that support in which they needed. In my travels to the Netherlands recently, the students indicated that their want and their need to return home was there. However, the factor where they were not sure in terms of what was available to them was not there. Security of ensuring that job placement and employment would take place when they return home was not there. This was their reluctance in returning what I call home. When we, at the Fred Expo, and I'm very happy to see many of the companies that joined us at Fred Expo when we also spoke about the Brain Gate project, the students indicated there that seeing the interest of the companies, White and Yellow Cross, SZV, many more in the room, they saw where St. Martin was really coming out and reaching out to their students. And we saw a change in the dynamics in the way of they were thinking. Because our Prime Minister has to leave, before I turn the floor back over to Mrs. Matis Rumu, I would like to first officially present, because it was an interministerial working task force, and I would like to say thank you and congratulations for the work that you have done on behalf of the government of St. Martin. We would like to officially present a shirt, the Brain Gain shirt. I'm wearing mine, covered by my jacket. However, I am displaying it to our Honorable Prime Minister, because the interministerial task force consisted of the Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth and Sports, the Ministry of Public Health, Social Development and Labor, the Ministry of General Affairs, and the Ministry of TIAT. Now, not saying that the other ministries will not be involved, but that is where the task force, these members are comprised of. And we would like to officially give the ministers of those various ministries a Brain Gain shirt. And Honorable Prime Minister, I would like to call you to the podium so we can present you with your shirt. We did not measure you for size, so we hope it fits. On behalf of the ministries, the task force, and all of those persons, Prime Minister, that have worked towards this project, we hereby officially welcome you as part of the Brain Gain team. We present you with this shirt.
Thank you. May I check the size?
Small?
I'm not that big. No. Thank you very much. Good morning. As Prime Minister, I'd like to share a few words. Brain Gain is under the leadership of a lady who is sitting on my left, and who in the last couple of months has been knocking on my door practically every week, and to not only promote the program, Brain Gain, but also she has explained that in details to me and to my cabinet, and also in some individual cases that were online. And I can report today that we solved one big problem. Lindri is moving, is to bring back a local that is studying in the Netherlands, has completed studies to work at the JZW, the judicial department that we have here. This government and this Prime Minister, together with the Minister of Education, in fact, the entire cabinet, we are committed to doing what has to be done to bring back young people. Over and over, we have said that we are busy building a country, And for us to build country, we got to start building with the young people. And, you know, this job in the last 7 months, I've had times when I ask myself, why am I doing this? And I tell you, I credit the young people in the administration, in the organization, that notices, like when the Prime Minister is about, you know, tired and to give up, they'll step up. And they say, Prime Minister, let's go. We got your back. And there's nothing better, there's not a better feeling than when young people, I ain't gonna mention no names, because if I mention names, I miss one or two, and that's not the intention. And these are young people not only from my ministry, but from all the ministries within government that comes up and said, Prime Minister, we got your back, let's go, let's move. And that's encouraging, really. That's really very, very encouraging. And I experienced it, some of you are here, I experienced it in particular on the second budget day we had at the West End, when it was like, are we ever going to get through this wall? Are we ever going to get the ministers, the ministries and the SGs and everybody to understand that we got to get a balanced budget, that we got to cut costs, that we got to stop wasting money, and that we got to find ways of increasing not only income, but increasing productivity, because that's the only way we're going to do it. You know, at certain time, I don't want to make the statement, in particular to the organization and to the community at large, if we don't all put our shoulder onto this wheel and move forward, guys, the day is going to come there will be no money to pay salaries. So make up your mind. Do you want salaries, or do we want, you know, to continue playing the games that we played? We are committed, I said, to bring back young people, and we are doing our best to instruct the relevant departments to find ways, find solutions to the problems, and do not find reasons why it cannot be done. I've experienced that too often in particular departments when they say, this cannot be done for that and that reason. And also, we have to take away the discrepancies. It's terrible. Do not send the Prime Minister an advice week number 1, where it is possible for someone, and 3 weeks later, the same case, the same circumstances, and then he tells me it cannot be done. You know, because then the Prime Minister will get a little rude, and the Prime Minister may have to move you and bring in somebody else to advise me. So it's about being consistent. We are committed, I repeat again, to supporting this program and bring back young people, okay? They are out there, they want to come back, and we have to make it possible. But everyone, the total organization, I want to thank you all very much.
Thank you, Prime Minister. I remember a statement, a question that was posed, and my SG, Mrs. Weriter, and the Honorable Member of Parliament, Mr. DeWeaver, was present. A young individual stood up and she said, Minister, I have a question. Why should I return home? And the look on her face, and my first reaction was, I said to her, no one should have to encourage you to return home. However, in saying that, because you as a young individual, you should want to return home and to build your country. In saying that, we here at home have to provide for them what is needed, the essential knowledge, the essential info that they need in order to be able to do so. My objective for supporting the Brain Gain Project is so that our young professionals can return home. I would like to give the floor to the person, as the Prime Minister say, who's always on my door, making sure that the task force gets to produce the work that they were appointed to do so. Mrs. Angelique Rumu-Martis, she does not allow me to forget 1 week that the Brain Gain Project has to be executed. I would like to thank you for continuing this project with the former minister and also former minister and of both ministries, for which I was lucky enough to have. Made it much easier. And for the work that you've been doing along with the task force, because I think I'm going to change the location of my office after this, so that when this now launches, I can say officially, you've been doing the work and the work continues. I would like to call to the podium Mrs. Angelique Rumu-Martis in order to give you a brief presentation on the actual details of the Brain Gain Project.
Ms. Forsyth, of course, like I said, was the initiator of this project in the cabinet of Ms. Patricia Lawrence. And Ms. Forsyth has been very instrumental in putting the initial task force together and then choosing the members of the task force. So we would like to present her also with a T-shirt, a Brain Gain T-shirt. I would like to see her wear it. Ms. Forsyth, would you like to say a few words before you take your seat?
Thank you, Angelique. This is a very emotional moment for me. This morning I was thinking it was some 5 years ago, actually, that while working on governing program of one of the many governments we've had during that period of time, I called Okama Brooke and I indicated to her, you know, Okama, you're working on a national development plan. But there can be no national development plan without a human resource development plan. We have to develop our human resources. Another aspect that played a great role was the fact that the return of investment on our study financing was lacking. As you know, annually millions are invested, Minister, in study financing, but we were not seeing the return on investment. Whenever there was a big project to be carried out, whenever there was work to be done, persons would be recruited from abroad. And I knew that somewhere where our students were studying abroad, there were young professionals who could carry out this work. And we have to bring them home. Because in building our nation, the persons, the members of that nation are the ones who have to do it. Nobody else can build our nation the way we can. And that's why for me it's very emotional. I'm very happy after 5 years to see this transpire. When I was leaving government when Minister Lawrence's term was up, I indicated to Angelique, senior moment, Angelique indicated, so we're entitled to that. I indicated to Angelique, I'm giving you my baby, and I know it's in good hands, and you will take care of it, you will nurture it, and you will bring it up the way it's supposed to happen, and she did. Angelique, congratulations. I also would like to thank our minister and thank the SG for believing in the project and moving on with the project. It's a very good project, and I look forward to great things. Thank you very much. Congratulations to the task force. We struggled through, many of you from the very beginning. It took a long time, but it's here. Thanks a million, and congrats once again.
Again, like I mentioned, it is important for everyone here to see the need to get our young professionals back to St. Martin and to work towards that. In the month of June, we went to the Fred Job Fair, and that was done as an initiative from the minister. She said, why not form a delegation with persons and the companies who are also going to be representing St. Martin there. And that's how a new family was born, so to speak. And that family, those family members are here, they're laughing, but they are my extended family, and they have already started working very hard towards getting our young professionals back. And we're gonna talk a bit about that in a bit. But again, the gist of the Brain Gain project is to get our young professionals back and to get them in jobs, seeing that we invest so much money in our young professionals, sending them off. We need now to invest in getting them back. We need to invest in keeping that connection with them, because that was also an issue that was brought up, that, you know, once they go to Holland, especially I'm sticking on the Holland because most of our students that go to the US return. Our students who go to the Netherlands hardly do. And they have also indicated that when they go, that relationship, that communication, for some reason falters, and therefore they don't see that St. Martin is looking out for them anymore. That has been one of the complaints. And Mr. Calvin Mardenboer would be one to agree to that, because he have often said that aftercare, we need to provide the aftercare. In talking about the Career Development Center, which again I've been saying the proposal is done, and now we're waiting to see what our SGs and our ministers who are part of this have to say about it, is to foster that liaison between the companies, our young professionals, and government, and also to provide that aftercare service for our young professionals who are studying abroad. Now, having said that, I would like to also recognize, and I'm going to ask the minister to join me here for that. One of our SGs is present from one of our supporting ministries, which is SG Miguel de Weaver, and we also will be presenting him with a Brain Gain t-shirt, seeing that this is an interministerial task force and all of the ministries are very much involved and need to be recognized for the hard work they're doing. We would like to present the SG of Teyat also with a Brain Gain t-shirt.
Because I remember when I started to work for government in 1997, we also started an organization called JobLink. And actually, I was having one of my senior moments over there because I was trying to remember what was the name of that organization that I started. So, and Calvin knows about it. That's why he's shaking his head. In 1997, when we started that organization to do pretty much the very same thing. One of our stumbling blocks was funding to keep it going, to be able to, because obviously it was being handled by persons outside, so it needed funding. One of the things, I would like to offer as a suggestion, and I think you've hit the nail on the head previously, is keeping in contact with those students, because I think many times the students, they don't think about the career until when they're almost done with school. And then for planning purposes, whether it's for government or the private sector, we need to know who is willing and in what fields are they willing to come back and come back to St. Martin, so we can make that match for them. So I think that's an important aspect, that we keep in contact with them so that they can be prepared to know that, and we have that communication with them to know what job opportunities are there waiting for them in St. Martin, because then that gives them the motivation, incentive to come back and want to come back and contribute. But I'm a firm believer, because when I left St. Martin, I never left with the intention to stay anywhere, even though I went there with a mission to go get an education, and my intention was to come back. And so the nationalistic aspect needs to also be being cultivated into the students, because it's not, everybody has the right to stay where they want, but we have a responsibility, in particular, in my view, when government pays for you, that you come back and contribute home. But it doesn't automatically mean that you're automatically entitled to a job. You should actually study certainly things that is needed, and I don't want to keep going on ranting, but I think you guys know what needs to be done, and I just wish you much success in taking over that baton and continue that struggle to maximize our return on investment.
Small. Well, I would like to first of all thank Miss Angelique, because she really pushed to help me with everything that was going on this summer, especially getting an internship to keep me busy this summer. As she was saying, I'm studying at the University of Curacao. I did my first year in financial management because it was a requirement to go over to accountancy and controlling because it's a higher level study. I did it and I got my propedeuse, and this year I'll be starting accountancy and controlling, which is my passion because I love numbers. So I'm happy that I'm being able to do what I want to do, and I'm looking forward to coming back in 2018 and give back to my country.
It's amazing when you see your students, I'm not going to say from how many years ago. I had Elaine in my class at around age 7. And the first thing her response was when I saw and I hugged her, she said, "You remembered me as if I'm 80. But to me, you don't forget your students. When you are a teacher, an educator, a facilitator, and you have that love and that passion for students, you don't ever forget them. So I saw her, we spoke for a brief while in my office a couple of minutes ago, and I see where this young lady, she said to me, "I want to return home." And this is the reason for the Brain Gain Project. So I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Our first intern, and I was hoping that some of the members of the Ministry of Education, the different departments and divisions would be here because they were also invited, because our SG also, because of the Brain Gain, insisted that some of the students that she met in the Netherlands also come into our ministry to do some internships. I can say that we have 5 interns that are starting. We have 3 that will start as of September in the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sports, and we have a representative here from that ministry, Miss Elmora Aventurin Pantuflet. Okay. And, some of these departments and divisions were eager to get our youngsters back. We also have interns who are going to be at the education department. And I believe also at the student support services as well. So we have 5 interns that are coming back. We cannot be the one standing here saying that we represent and we promote brain gain, and our ministry is not doing anything to promote the internship aspect as well. So I would like to congratulate and say thank you to the departments and divisions who decided to participate in this program as well. Now, my brothers and sisters that have been sitting there waiting so long, I have some tokens of appreciation on behalf of the Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth, and Sports because, as I said, we formed a delegation to travel to the Netherlands, and these companies that are being represented here today have really gone out of their way. They've started with the Brain Gain Initiative. And I think I'm gonna call up 2 companies first. I have something, or we have something here for all of you. The minister's gonna hand it over. But I want to call up first and foremost UTS in the representation of Miss Winifred Chingashu and also Ianta Rogers. UTS is one of our partners, and seeing that very soon, once we get the CDC up and running, we're going to be signing some MOUs with these companies. UTS is busy on the road of success for Brain Gain, I must say, because they have met with over, I believe, how many? 10 St. Martiners? More, maybe 15 St. Martiners who UTS is looking at hiring. For me, Ms. Forsyth talked about emotional. I'm getting goosebumps talking about it because it shows that our St. Martin companies are on board and they're not only saying, but they're doing. So UTS will be in the near future, I believe by next year, giving us great news as to who those persons are, who they're hiring. But I know they're busy in talks. But this young lady who's standing with Winifred, I can consider another first for Brain Gain because Ianta just completed her studies at the University of Curacao and human resource management. Isn't that ironic? We are here trying to get our human resources together, and she just graduated from the University of Curacao with her bachelor's, and I believe she has been doing a project at UTS, and can I say it? Is it known already? Yes? Okay. And Ianta is another one of our Brain Gain wins because she has been granted a 1-year contract with UTS. I think I can explain that why, because they are pushing for her to continue her studies and to get her master's, which I think is also a great aspect of the companies. They're not only saying we're hiring our young professionals and getting them back, but they're also encouraging them to foster and go forward and getting that higher degree. So Ianta, we also have a token of appreciation for you, and we also have a token of appreciation for the UTS company in your support of the Brain Gain Initiative.
Julie, thank you. You need to be close. Sorry. Closer. You're good.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Also, thank you.
Okay, so since the Honorable Minister wants to show off with her student Elena, Ianta was my student. Okay, so now the next on our list we have SLS, who also recently hired a young professional who is also here with her, I believe. And she started, yes, you didn't send me her name. She started working with SLS on Monday, as I was made to understand by Adelina. I didn't forget your name. I did that purposely because you didn't send me her name. Kim Janssen? Yes, she started on Monday, and I want to congratulate SLS for also coming on board with the Brain Gain Initiative and starting off with a bang. Congratulations to you. And Kim, welcome. You are officially a Brain Gain inductee. We have a t-shirt there for you as well. And we would like to thank you so much, Adelina and the staff and the management of SLS for coming on board with the Brain Gain Initiative.
So, Mr. DeWeaver, in your capacity as former Minister of Public Health, Social Development and Labor, of which now it's my interim ministry, I would like to present you with this shirt, thanking you for beginning this initiative under your guidance with Mrs. Lawrence on behalf of the Brain Gain team.
Good morning. Thank you. It is a pleasure and a dream come true to see this happen. Brain Gain is just one of the initiatives that I started. I know along with Minister Lawrence, we were also able to finalize the Council for Education and Labor, the ROA, which bridges the gap between the education and the labor force. That was one part of it. The other part, of course, is the wonderful counterpart policy, because we're going to need that for companies, for example, who are definitely not willing to hire our Brain Gain. They have to have a policy. There's a law. There's also the policy and also the implementation guidelines that are going to be needed for this, because when a company like those presented here today are willing, then there's no need for it. However, we have companies who are not willing, and that is why we need to have the law, the policy, and the guidelines in place to make sure that our students can come home. And not just our students, our graduates, those who have the experience and who are willing to return home. This is all part of the bigger picture. Even in the Transparency International report, they spoke about the knowledge not staying here, and I believe counterpart policy is definitely one that can be looked at in a broader picture rather than, I think I have to pay 2 salaries. It's much bigger than that. It's much bigger than us. It's much bigger than St. Martin. Thank you very much.